Hello, everyone. This is Mark Holt.
And I'm Todd Baltz.
Welcome to the CommerceCast for the Randolph County Chamber of Commerce. Today we have our very special guest and Executive Director, Ann Savage, is going to be talking to us today about her time here, both in the community, on the board of the Chamber, and now as the Executive Director. What are y'all going to talk about there?
Well, actually, you and Ann first talked about her career in public service at BRTC and actually her roles on the board, years ago. And then we kind of jumped to now. I interviewed Ann and talked about how she feels the Chamber is doing right now and what her current projects are as Executive Director in trying to help the Chamber of Commerce be a great networking hub for Randolph County.
There's one word that to me describes Ann, that's dedication. She's a wonderful resource for the Chamber of Commerce, but also to Randolph County and Pocahontas. So look forward to showcasing what she's been working on and what she's up to here. This is a bit of a time machine episode to where we recorded it in two parts. The first part a couple of months ago, and then more recently with she and Todd. So look forward to Ann and the Chamber of Commerce and what's to come here.
If you have any questions or if you have a guest you'd like to recommend for the CommerceCast, just send us an email at commercecastpod@gmail.com and we will get in touch. Coming up next is Ann Savage, the Executive Director of the Randolph County Chamber of Commerce.
Welcome, everybody, to the podcast here for the Chamber of Commerce. We're going over some names right now, but I think CommerceCast has a good ring to it, or Chamber Chat has a good ringer to it. So be sure and communicate with us about what you'd like to hear from us and what you think sounds good for coming to you live from the Randolph County Chamber of Commerce. Have with us today our Executive Director, Miss Ann Savage. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So we are going to do this as a very informal, casual conversation. And I think the best place to start would be at the beginning. So tell us a little bit about yourself and were you born here in Pocahontas?
No, I wasn't. I was actually born in East Tennessee, west of Knoxville.
West of Knoxville, okay.
Yes, and I moved to Osceola actually when I was 13.
Is East Tennessee, would that be considered coal miner country or the Smoky Mountains? Or
Smoky Mountains.
Smoky Mountains.
Yes, and I grew up and my mother was involved in the chamber. She worked in the chamber. She worked in the chamber when we moved to Osceola. I was the marketing director at BRTC for 22 years. I had 5 years prior of educational experience working with a grant program at Arkansas Northeastern. Moved to Pocahontas almost 28 years ago. So I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere. And
well, what brought you from East Tennessee to Osceola?
My dad was an engineer for Viskase Corporation. It was formerly known as Union Carbide. And they made casing for processed meats, like bologna and hot dogs, sausages. So he was asked to transfer to Osceola to start up on the plant there. And it just recently closed.
Really?
Yes.
So then from Osceola then to Pocahontas. Pocahontas is
no,
not really
there was
jumps off the map as here's where you have to go.
I've been everywhere, man. I went to UCA, graduated there with a marketing degree in '88. From there, I moved back to Osceola for like 4 or 5 months, then to Panama City, Florida for a few years, then to Little Rock, then back to Osceola, and then to Jonesboro, and then landed in Pocahontas. So, kind of do the math on that. There's a couple of times in Osceola I moved from house to house as the family was growing. That's a lot of moving in just a few years.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially from not a military standpoint,
Right. And I often say, everywhere I go, I run into somebody that I know.
So, but you've been here for 28 years? 28
years.
What was that? That's about 97, 96, something like that?
Exactly.
97. What are some of your first impressions of Pocahontas when you first moved here?
I lived Pocahontas before I moved here.
Really?
So I married a Pocahontas guy. Unfortunately, that didn't work out.
Sure.
But he had a big family. The people here were friendly, They were inviting. They welcomed people into the community, and it was just home to me.
What is your first memory of the
11
town itself? Not the people, but the town itself, like
it was just
a landmark or something that you is the longest memory you have here since you moved here.
It was just filled with, history and beautiful buildings. And then you had the rivers.
Yeah.
That's some of my first memories were actually floating down 11 Point.
11 Point.
And we were doing that with our friends before we moved here.
So 11 Point, you'll remember this since you've been here that long, but now we have truckies and we have access to the river all over the place, access to all the rivers. But really the main run back in the day was out in Dalton, a place called Woody's. Remember Woody's?
I remember Woody's. I've been to Woody's.
We had so much fun at Woody's over the years. Drove by, actually, we have some family friends that live out past Woody's or the bridge there where Woody's was. I think about it every time I drive by. They had a rope swing, of course, with the drop off, before they take you in the old school buses or whatever up river to float down or to canoe down. So I think everybody kind of shares that history of time on Woody's and floating. And I think it really sets Randolph County apart from other similar sized towns, similar populations, right, that we just have this wonderful natural resource of these rivers. I've heard that Randolph County has 5 rivers running through it, which is
correct,
the most of any county in the United States.
That's correct.
Except for, California can match us with 5 rivers, but one of the rivers in California is man-made. It's more like a canal,
mm-hmm,
like their water runoff or whatnot. So, but I've heard that Arkansas is the only county or Randolph County is the only county in the country that has 5 rivers running through it. And that's a pretty big stat, that's amazing. And they're not just, Fochie is probably the smallest river. I know it's the smallest river. And not a lot of, we've fished on Fochie before, but not a lot of running up and down it. But you've got 11 Point. There's all kinds of things to do and spots in the river that are good, and boating and swimming and fishing. And you've got Current and Black, and then Spring that just runs a little bit into the county. But all those rivers have something a little bit different from the other to offer. And it's just been a good time growing up here to play in the water for sure.
What stuck out to me first moving here, I remember down here on the square was alive.
Mm-hmm.
There were shoe stores, there were dress shops, there were restaurants, there were numerous businesses. And one of my goals is to help bring that back.
I think if there's one issue that can bring everybody together, it would be along the lines of revitalizing downtown. Now, of course, not only downtown.
No.
But everyone recognizes that what we have here is precious. And if we could get more activity, more restaurants, more stores downtown, then it's just more to be proud of for sure.
And I have seen some small communities like ours that will take one of the old buildings and revitalize that building and make like a museum or an event where they can have art shows, mm-hmm, and things like that. And I think that's beneficial too.
So your mother was on the Osceola Chamber of Commerce.
She was on the Loudoun Chamber of Commerce. She was actually worked in the office. She was the ED's assistant.
Okay.
And then in Osceola, she did the same before she took another job in an accounting office. If they were having an event, my mother was dragging me in and dressing me up like, for example, Raggedy Ann and Andy, me and my best friends. We were her, we were her people that we did whatever she said, So I grew up around the chamber and what the chamber was about.
So you when you came to Pocahontas and started working, what was some of your earliest jobs?
Well, I had the one job at the college for 22 years. Okay. They're marketing director. And so if you see a mascot, you see a logo, I had my hand in that. So for 22 years, I did that. In the time that I was at the college, I served 2 terms and part of another term on the Chamber Board of Directors. I served one of those years as the president. I've just stayed kind of closely in tune to the chamber and what was transpiring and what needed to be done.
So was the chamber in Osceola, a big question that we get often with any chamber of commerce, but with ours specifically is what does the chamber do, and kind of what's your definition of commerce? So I want to ask first, though, remember back with your mother and her time at her chamber, what do you think her definition was and how it's changed to today? And
well, I remember that it was heavily industrialized. I mean, they were seeking industries to bring into the community. They were helping those industries with a startup. They offered them assistance in any way they possibly could, and then they would work close with the city and the county also to find them aid and get on their feet. And it was not only just industry, but it was small businesses as well. But the chamber never just has one duty. You know, they have a lot of different hats, and so even someone that was relocating into that area, that would be one of their first stops. They were an information hub for that community,
which I think it still is today. Do you think that the essence of the chamber or the mission of the chamber should change over the time, or do you think it should be something
you always have to adapt to what you're currently dealing with? But I still think that needs to be the focus of helping businesses get started. If you can locate new industry to get them in, that you need to be there to support them and help them in any way you can to make them stronger and the transition smooth. But you also have to be there for your community too and listen to what your community needs are.
You grew up around a chamber atmosphere. You came here, went into marketing and PR there at BRTC. You also, I know I've seen your name on the billboards and your face on the billboards here. You worked in real estate.
I did. So prior to leaving the college, I had always been interested in real estate. I love homes. I love decorating, making things pretty. And so I just had the desire. And so I talked to Julie and I got my license. So I started selling real estate as a side job while I was still at the college. And, it was pretty exciting. I enjoyed it. And so,
remember your first real estate sale?
Oh, yes, I remember my first one very well. I'll always remember my first.
Well, tell me a little about it.
It was a friend of mine that I really had met her through a mutual acquaintance. And I was in a swimming pool on a Saturday afternoon, and I got a call and said, would you show me this house? I said, okay, if I know you well enough, I'm coming in my cover up. Is that okay? And the property I showed them here didn't work out for them, but it did lead into a sale at Bridgepoint. And so it was a good experience.
Give me a feel now for moving from the college to your role here now as the executive director. I will divulge that I was in on those conversations and I remember the process, but just from your perspective, how do you find yourself sitting here today?
So my broker, Julie, is currently on the board, and we had numerous discussions before she ever accepted the position to be on the board about the chamber and the benefits of the chamber and
because
what
you
her
had been on
what her contribution could be. And so occasionally she would come to me and say, do you remember how this was handled? Do you remember how this was handled? And we would have a conversation and kind of weigh out all sides of it. And then sometimes I'd give her my opinion about, well, I never thought it should have been handled that way anyway.
No, I don't believe it.
No, not me, not opinionated. So it came around and the position was vacated and there had been some turnover. And I think the board was getting exasperated with the changes.
Very much so.
And she approached me. She came to me and she said, would you consider doing this part-time, until we can find someone? I thought about it. And then she called me back one day and she was in one of your all's meetings. She goes, can you give us an answer right now? And so I agreed that I would do it part-time on a part-time basis. And then within a couple of weeks, I saw what needed to be done. And I voiced my opinion. So this can't be done part-time. This is going to have to be full-time. And it's probably going to have part-time help. to build it back to where we want it to be and to be strong for everyone in our community. That's what needed to be done. And I just dove in, and I've been loving everything that I've done so far.
Well, we have too as a board, and I'm certain I can speak for the community as a whole too, that it's been a night and day improvement or turnaround there for the community appreciation for the Chamber of Commerce. Obviously, it's no surprise that the executive director is going to be the face of the chamber.
And I'm not used to being in front of the camera. I'm used to being the one behind the camera.
Well, you couldn't tell by today or by your history thus far with the chamber. It's really been something to witness how well you've taken this on from right at the beginning, when you got involved here. And I didn't know at the time, whenever you joined, that you were formally on the board yourself. So that helps. And then just now learning that you have a history through your mother of what a chamber is, what a chamber does, and how a chamber exists and works that makes a lot more sense to me about how you can just get in here and get to work the way that you did and have such good success. It has really been a pleasure to watch you work.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Very hopeful for what the future brings too here with the Chamber of Commerce.
You and Mark had just finished talking about your career and then kind of you moving into this Chamber of Commerce Executive Director role. It's been a little bit over a year since we recorded that first segment. It's also been a little over a year since you've kind of taken over the reins of a Chamber of Commerce. How do you feel it's doing?
Well, I think we're progressing nicely. We're taking, I guess, baby steps.
Baby steps are good.
As I tell my board, don't throw too much on me at one time.
Yeah.
But let's reinstate programs that have gone by the wayside and build those and make those better than they previously were.
Yeah.
And then once we have that done, we can move on and start a new project. And so we've reinstated the ambassador program this year.
Wonderful.
And
how many do you have in the
We
ambassadors?
have 7 student ambassadors. We have 6 seniors and 1 junior.
Okay, very
They're
nice.
all from Pocahontas. We didn't have any others apply aside from the Pocahontas school system. All those students have 4.0 or higher GPAs.
Fantastic.
And they have great expectations. They aspire to do great things.
So these to be future leaders in the community. And I think part of what you've been doing is taking them around to various parts of the city and county to learn what actually makes the city and county run.
And we have, and that's how I changed the program. I kind of structured it more toward a leadership program.
Okay.
Myself, having gone through Randolph County leadership several years ago, we traveled all over the state.
Okay.
And I knew that I could, because of the time constraints with the students' schedules and also their ages, I wasn't certain how the parents would feel about taking them across the state.
Some might want a break from their kid for a night or two. So
they might, but I didn't know if I wanted the responsibility of 7 teenagers by myself.
That might be a little bit.
Had to have a volunteer to help.
Yes, for sure. That'd be like you having 2 boards to deal with.
My expectations for that program, the way I structured it, is I wanted these kids, not the kids, but young adults getting ready to move into adulthood and into the real world.
Yeah.
Learn what Pocahontas Randolph County was about. I wanted them to understand the steps in the governments, the city and the county, all the different departments, all the processes that they had to go through, who was elected officials, appointed officials, and what their responsibilities were. And so the first meeting we spent with the city, and different department heads came in and spoke to them, and then we did a tour of City Hall. There were certain places we couldn't enter into, but they enjoyed that. I always feel bad if I keep them too long, but they're like, no, we really don't have a time frame.
Yeah.
But they really invest in themselves. And let me step backwards. I misspoke because the first meeting we met with them. I met with them alone, and then we had a team building exercise.
Yeah.
So we meet I believe it's the 3rd Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
The second month, we just duplicated what we did at the city, but we did it at the county level.
Okay, wonderful. And that's probably for even regular citizens. The city feels a lot more like you understand how it works. The county, because it's a little bit broader, may feel like, okay, what does the county really do? Pay my taxes. What really goes on at the county? So that's probably really engaging and enlightening for those young students.
It was very educational.
Yeah.
I think they left with a lot each
Okay.
meeting. The fourth one, I wanted to lighten it up a little bit.
Good.
It was December, it's a holiday season, and so as for my goals is to take them to different kind of businesses.
Okay.
We went to the Cornerstone Christmas Tree Farm.
Wow. Okay. Very on theme for Christmas time.
Yes, it was. We had fun. They got to smell the different trees, and so those students learned what it was like to chase a dream.
Yeah.
Fulfill a dream.
Yes.
And all the bumps,
of course,
and quirks that they had to make adjustments for to make it successful. Now, it was really great seeing someone that's so passionate about what they do. Yeah. Living that dream.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, did they get involved in the chamber specifically during the Christmas season?
They did. So,
okay.
I think it's the first Thursday of December. The Downtown Network hosts a Christmas parade, a themed Christmas parade. And we decided that we were going to have some events here. Okay. We had someone outside handing out hot chocolate. There was a
Wonderful.
church. Project graduation, some of their parents were inside the chamber in the kitchen. They were selling chili to raise money for project graduation.
Wonderful.
And then to spice things up a little bit, we had a gingerbread house contest.
And spoiler alert, I won.
Congratulations.
Because I was the only entry.
Well, you didn't have to tell that.
Yes, well, in the spirit of transparency, because podcasts are really good about being authentic and transparent. Yes, I was only entry, and so I won. But it was a really fun night. I personally enjoyed not having to be out there in the cold, be able to watch the parade from upstairs in the courthouse.
We also did a silent auction. So each year that we try to give each of these students. This program is sponsored by ProMed Ambulance and Julie Courtney, Archer Realty this year. Each student that
and
is
any
senior,
chamber member could help sponsor that event. Or that,
so we try
program.
to give each student that's graduating, if they have fulfilled the obligation of all the meetings that they have to attend, a scholarship at the end of the year. But
they have meetings.
They have several obligations. They have their monthly meeting. Mm-hmm. They have to attend a Rotary or Kiwanis meeting. Okay. They have to attend a city council meeting, a quorum court meeting, and then they have to attend 3 chamber events, meetings, then all our special events from the Ad Expo to the Business Expo Job Fair to the annual banquet.
Yeah, so the chamber, so you're really helping the students be involved and see what makes the community work. And speaking of, that's been one project you've been working on, but what other things you've been trying to either revitalize or bring new to the chamber in your year being serving as the executive director?
Well, in June, we published our first newsletter.
Okay.
It's something that was previously done.
Wonderful.
And so designed and published the first monthly newsletter.
And I think you have
published our 7th.
And you have help with that, I believe, from
a volunteer.
A volunteer.
Yes, Dr. Jan Ziegler had volunteered to help the chamber. So in that monthly newsletter, if we've had ribbon cuttings or we've had new members join, there's a section to list those and have pictures. There's also a section that's from the director, from me. And I talk about what's going on or what's coming up or the progress that was made throughout the year. But the one that Jan writes, and we're so thankful that she does, is the member highlight.
Okay.
So we choose one member and we try to coordinate it with something that's going on.
Yeah.
This past month this month was the Eddie Mae Heron Center.
Of course.
And everything that, she wrote about how they developed.
Yeah.
How they had their money, their funding. But she also talked about all the events that they're having through this month and next month.
Yeah, because the Eddie Mae Heron Center is very busy, as we learned last week from Miss Pat Johnson, who's the director. they have a ton going on. Definitely check out that episode, but also keep an eye on the Chamber Facebook page because you're releasing updates to remind people, hey, this is what the Eddie Mae Heron Center is doing. That all sounds really good. But what other things do you kind of envision for 2026?
The board has just voted to approve 2 programs
Okay.
to launch this year, and those will happen. Those
Mm-hmm.
awards will be given out at the annual banquet in
Okay.
October, and that is the
Business Hall of Fame
Business Hall of Fame
and
and the Sports Hall of Fame.
wonderful. And those were 2 projects that were discussed and kind of brought forward by 2 prior board members, right?
Yes. Mark Holt and Mike Thompson. They were the brains
Kind of, yeah,
behind that.
the brains behind that, and so even kind of shows that the Chamber of Commerce, when you're on the board, even if you're now a member, like just a member like Mark and Mike are, you can still be involved, and you should still be involved because the chamber is kind of a network, and it helps support the community as a whole. And I know that we care about our prior sports legends, but also our prior businesses that either have shifted names or have gone out of business, but were in here for years.
Been very generous to the community and very helpful and provided a lot of support for the chamber as well.
Yeah, I mean, one
and the community.
Yeah, and one business that I think of frequently because I help take care of my grandmother is the King's Apartment Store. It's a building that was on the square. The building still exists, but that building has changed from a department store to numerous different restaurants. But that building is still like a monument now.
And it's currently on the market.
Well, besides the Hall of Fame, do you have anything else that you want to discuss that we should look forward to seeing either you or other board members bring forward this new year in 2026?
Well, and I don't want to say too much about it just yet, but we are going to start utilizing a different platform that will drive our website and will bring added benefits to our members. And not only to the members, but it will free up administrative time for me as well. But the members will be able to have a lot more publicity and be able to do things on the calendar, all kinds of things.
Will you be able, and then a lot of this will be intuitive, but will you be able to help any members come to your office, like walk them through either setting up an account and showing them how to best utilize that new platform?
Of course, I'm always there to help anybody if they need assistance with help, but it'd probably be beneficial if we did a short video or a tutorial to show them that they could get to on our website.
Excellent.
That help them set that up.
Okay, perfect. So good idea for another future episode too. But also it just shows you that chambers have been around for a long time. They're going to continue to be around for a long time, and they're going to adapt as the times change, as technology changes.
And kind of coinciding with the 250th anniversary of America, we're looking to grow our membership larger than we did last year. And so this is the 250th anniversary of America.
Yeah.
And so we are going to have a membership drive, which our board members will be involved in initiating, but we will drive that membership up with a goal. We have a goal of 250 for the 250th.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a fantastic idea, Ann.
That was a great idea, Todd.
Yes. Well, no, I'm excited to see what you do, what you accomplish this year.
If I could take one more moment, there was something that I didn't mention. There is an upcoming event. It is February the 20th. It is going to be at the Clover Bend Historic District. It is a program that we work with Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce and the U of A Extension Office.
Yes.
To do an Ag Expo. And this rotates from Lawrence County one year back to Randolph County the following year. And that event has sponsorship levels. You've got platinum, bronze, gold, silver sponsorships. Individuals, businesses can set up booths, opportunities for education for farmers, people in the farming industry, and then there's networking opportunities, and then there's fun door prizes and
awesome. And
stuff
there
with it.
is, and like you said, there's a scholarship for students in Lawrence County or Randolph County they can apply for.
Yes, and so the sponsorships make it possible to get those scholarships. And last year there were no Lawrence County scholarships. They didn't have any students apply, and we had 3 scholarship recipients from Randolph County.
And these are seniors
Seniors.
in school who are applying for
Who have ag backgrounds.
Who have agricultural backgrounds.
Yes.
Either ag backgrounds, also are going into ag in college.
Yes, correct.
Awesome. Thank you, Ann, for reminding us about that. We will see you next time on the CommerceCast.
Thanks for having me.
CommerceCast is a production of Fox Science Studios. We are hosted by Mark Holt and Todd Baltz. Our executive producers are, also Todd Baltz and Mark Holt. Special thanks to the Randolph County Chamber of Commerce. Music provided by AGI. You can find links to everything we discussed today in the show notes. If you have a question or a topic idea, email us at commercecastpod@gmail.com. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really helps new listeners find us. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time right here in the studio. Thanks for listening.